Welcome to the Own Your Education podcast, where we're putting the pedal to the metal on families and founders who are in the driver's seat on doing education differently. Because learning isn't one size fits all. What if your kid's education was molded around your life instead of the other way around? Here we talk to people who've tossed that rulebook right out the window. I'm your host, Ryan Clem. Let's go for a ride. Welcome to the very first episode of the Own Your Education podcast. Today, I'm talking to a homeschooling mom named Cheryl, who started homeschooling her daughter when she was a sophomore in high school. It wasn't the path she expected, but it ultimately ended up being the best one. Well, Cheryl, thank you so much for joining us today. Before we get started, tell us a little bit about you and your lovely family.
Yeah, so I have a true blended family. My husband and I met when I was in New Jersey, and he is from Newark, New Jersey, and I'm from a little town of Ashland, Kansas. So first of all, just blended there, and then blended spiritually, faithfully. And then when I met him, he had 3 kids, and I had none, and now we have 5. Wow. And we had 5 within our first 2 years of being together. And so we are a blended Catholic family. And last 2 are in the house, Jasmine and Jordyn. Everybody else is grown and living their life, which is beautiful. And the hardest part of being a parent is parenting older kids.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I could see how that could be the case.
Yeah. They just don't listen. You think your teenagers don't listen. Wait till your kids get older.
Well, you're almost an empty nester, but not quite.
Right. Yeah. So close. Jasmine graduates in May and off to Fort Hayes. And then we have Jordyn left.
Right. And yeah. I have the pleasure of knowing Jordyn through my daughter, Peyton. They've been good friends.
Those 2 together, just thinking about them, I just giggle.
I know.
Yeah, God blessed us and cursed us with them because they are so much together, and I love it.
They keep us on our toes.
They do. And I love their personalities because, one, they're hardest to raise, but they're going to be so successful when they're older.
Yes.
Because
very
of that.
Independent-minded.
Very much so.
And I know we're going to be talking a bit more about Jordyn today because you made a different choice with Jordyn when it came to her schooling and what you all decided to do there. So before we get into your homeschooling journey, which I'm sure you didn't see coming.
No. I'm the last person that should be homeschooling my children, for sure. My husband's the educator. He has all the master's degrees and everything, but he has nothing to do with it. It's between Jordyn and I. And again, I'm the last person that should be, but thankful that she chose this journey at the age she did. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I'd probably be failing more than what I am today.
Well, I highly doubt that.
Oh, girl.
Well, tell us a little bit about Jordyn. How do you describe her? What does she love? What lights her up?
Jordyn, theater, writing, just being goofy, just being herself in that awkward, weird way that society is like, what is wrong with them? But that's part of her autism that we just got diagnosed recently. Okay. In fact, she's the one that came to me and said, I need to be diagnosed.
Wow.
So I know how to handle and deal with what I'm feeling.
Wow.
And so we did.
And when was that?
That was the beginning of her sophomore year.
Okay. So this is kind of when the wheels started.
Yeah. So she had asked for years to be homeschooled. COVID gave her a taste of it, and she wanted more of it. And Bill, being the traditional teacher, he was like, no. And finally she asked the beginning of her sophomore year, can I please just be homeschooled? And the answer again was no from Dad. Mm-hmm. And then it was probably September, and I went to him and I said, she can't function. Mm. She is missing more school than ever because of just the way the smells, the sounds, it's really a 45-minute breakdown because the skirt is touching the knee in a certain way. Mm. And so we either need to really quickly pray about homeschool or take her into a public school. And he still was, on the fence of no.
Just because of his upbringing and his professional experience as a teacher.
Because, success in a lot of people's eyes is the school you come from.
Right.
And
it's so ingrained in us.
It is. Mm-hmm. It is. And so I said, look, your dad is very intellectual, very factual. Do a PowerPoint. Tell him why. Because us just talking to him, he's not getting it, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to learn how to talk to different people no matter what.
That's so true.
And so she did, and she nailed it to where halfway through he was like sold. He was like, so she can still go to college? She can still get in?
Yes. All these things are possible.
Yeah. We've been trying to tell you this.
So she's kind of slowly working on dad.
Yeah.
And she meets him where he's at.
Yeah.
Sells it with an amazing PowerPoint. So then what happens?
Then I freak out a little bit, like, okay, this is really happening. He said yes. I was planning on another no. So I have a very short time to figure out what to do and how to do this, along with leading a ministry that's, taking all my time.
Because you're a working mama. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's another interesting part of your story is if I'm working, like, how do I make homeschooling work?
Yeah.
And maybe that went through your mind as well.
For sure. And with him saying, well, then you two will do it. And I'm like, yeah, we'll do it.
Let me clone myself.
And I'm like, Jordyn, how are we going to do this? Right. And she's like, Mom, it'll be fine. There's this program. I mean, she already done her research on programs.
Okay.
I had started looking before her PowerPoint presentation, and I had found a few too that I was okay with.
With online curriculum. Okay.
Yeah. And it's funny, we chose the same one.
Wow.
Yeah. Our number one pick was the same one, which was Seton. It mimicked where she was at and in her school that she was at, and with the rigorous and the Catholic formation and all of that. And so we were like, yeah, that's it. Well, it wasn't it. But she made it through. But for her autism, ADHD combined, it wasn't for her.
Okay.
But
so she started with Seton.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that because she finished first semester sophomore year.
Yeah.
And then my daughter Peyton had said, hey, Jordyn's not coming back next semester. Like, what? What's going on there? She's like, I don't know. She wants to homeschool.
Yeah, she just ghosted them. Like,
she needed a minute.
School.
She needed a minute.
Right? Not her friends, but the school.
Right.
And I never forget when we went to go get her transcript and hand everything in. And one of the counselors stopped and was like, oh, we're going to miss you. Like, was very genuine. And she was like, get me out of here. I can't wait to get out. And it's not that because she didn't like anybody there. It was because she felt suffocated there. I mean, once we left the door, I could see just so much weight lift off of her shoulders. Mm-hmm. And then she, dug deep into theater and joined Enjoy Fountain's Academy and was really just able to be theatrical and natural and just be able to be her. Mm-hmm. And, and that happened instantly.
Wow.
And I'm just really blessed. She's blessed of the friends like Peyton. They've kept her in the loop.
Yeah.
They've kept her involved. They invite her. She invites herself, just like normal. And I'm so appreciative of that because that was one of Bill's and mine concerns is that socialization.
Right.
We didn't want her to become isolated.
So would you say for Bill, aside from just the academic side, just given his background of being a teacher, was that representative of all your hesitations, like the social side? Will she still enjoy friendships? Yeah,
because, Jordyn, I mean, she's in the middle of the parties.
Yeah.
She's out on that dance floor. She's getting everybody riled up and, her little legs hurt for days after a dance because she danced all night. But then we found in homeschool that doesn't have to stop.
No.
And in the school that she's at, it doesn't have to stop. You find friends to invite you. You be that.
Yeah, you still have community.
Yeah. And, so instead of, saying, hey, waiting on a boy to ask you to go to prom, you're like, hey, you're taking me to prom this year.
I love that.
And yeah, it's just hilarious to watch her. And, she tells her sister who still goes to that school, Jasmine, go ask Max. just go tell Max that he's got to
We're
take
going
me.
together.
Yeah.
That's great.
You know, and so she stays in the loop also through her sister. But yeah, it's been a learning curve, not just with her diagnosis, but with homeschooling. In the beginning, I was way too laxed. We traveled a lot with my job. I do a lot of conferences and whatnot from January to March, and she came along with me, which was a great experience for her. But I wasn't watching her homeschooling. And so she got behind. Mm-hmm. And then I was like hyper focused on get it done, get it done, get it done. Well, then that wasn't good for her or me. I found her a therapist that also has autism and ADHD. And so
Great.
she has really helped us together come up with a routine
Great.
that works for Jordyn.
So you really were kind of unpacking a lot during this time because not only did you discover Jordyn was neurodivergent, then you say, okay, we're going to change your educational environment. So you're kind of tackling some really big things at the same time. And it sounds like maybe focusing on Jordyn's autism, right? And helping her in that regard sounds like maybe helped her educationally as well.
Sure.
Right?
For sure. And that's the beauty of homeschool is that she can be the leader in what her routine needs to look like, not what I want it to look like.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's me taking that traditional teaching out too, right? She doesn't have to do every single subject every day. She doesn't have to do it every day, any subject. She can do it on her time, and it's okay. If she's a month or two behind, her friends in sophomore year, whatever, now junior year, it's okay. She'll get there. I fail every day at it. She's failed, but we haven't stopped.
Yeah, but you didn't sit in the failure, right?
No. Yeah, that's not an option.
You already just kind of taking the leap into homeschooling. You said, okay, I'm going to try this. And it didn't work for Jordyn. And then you guys pivoted. And tell me where she's at now.
So junior year with BJU.
Okay.
And we went to the homeschool conference in January last year. I think it was January. And just to look at different curriculums because we knew that Seton wasn't it. And so we went looking. And she found BJU. I liked it too when I first came up to it, but then we walked around again. And the support, the videos for her, especially with the math, was very important. She's always struggled with math, even in grade school, which is a hard thing for her dad to understand because he's so mathematical. And I'm like, hey, I get it. Why are we putting letters with numbers? It makes no sense. But it's also allowing her that space to be creative with her writing because that's her dream, right? Is to be that author.
Yeah, I remember Peyton saying she's working on books.
Yeah.
She's starting young.
She's been working on her voice and, she's got a job now to where if she was still in that school, she wouldn't have been able to do that. She would have been still overwhelmed and drowning.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and you mentioned she was dealing with a lot of even sensory issues, right? That on the surface, it's hard to tell someone is struggling with that. But for that person, it's very real.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so being able to understand that and not just being okay with the struggle and trying to figure out how to help her. Not fix her. That's not my job. And my job isn't to do the work. It's her job. But to find her those tools and the resources to make it work.
So she has the tools now, and it sounds like it's an online curriculum to kind of plug and play. Walk me through and it sounds like there's a lot of flexibility in her schedule, which is probably the beauty of her setup now. But walk me through what a typical week, if typical is even a word, what does that look like for her and for you?
Yeah, I mean, now that I'm working from home, I've pivoted my work schedule, and working from home has been more beneficial. Maybe not for her, but for me, in keeping track and knowing what her routine is, where I didn't get that when I was working in the office. One thing I would have done different in the beginning was that. But each day, she comes out of bed whenever, for sure by 9 a.m. We've made that agreement. And it doesn't mean she's dressed and ready to go for the day, but she's up and at 'em.
She's upright.
Yeah. And she may do an hour's worth of work. And then she, does the typical teenage thing of scrolling a little bit and probably too much, and writing and playing with Jamie, our dog. And sometimes we go to the library and take my work and her schoolwork. But a lot of times she's doing it at 10, 11 o'clock at night, to where I'll go in and she's doing homework.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. That's
just what works for her.
That's what works for her.
Okay.
It took me a lot to accept that.
Yeah.
Because I have to.
Kids should be asleep at this time.
Kids should be asleep. Yeah. And, she's giggling, and just like Jordyn does, giggles all the time. But, as a family, we have to get used to that. And not that Jasmine was like irritated with her, but, there's times that Jordyn gets a little too loud. And we're all like, Jordyn, we understand that you don't have to leave the house.
You do, but we're trying to sleep.
Yeah. Dad has to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
Jasmine has to go to school, and I have to work. Like, get it together, girl.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Yeah. But it works for her. We take weekends off. We take holidays off.
And are there grades, or does that not exist?
There are grades.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's similar to what she had experienced before.
Especially with Seton, right? They're pretty harsh on their grading scale, just like where she came from. But, you're in these chats and stuff with other moms, and I'm looking at these moms struggling, right? And Jordan's like, no, it's easy, Mom. And I'm like, okay, good. But that's because she had that foundation, I think, and she came from that structure in the traditional schooling, and they had her prepared. So
Good.
That's the one thing about homeschooling, is it doesn't have to look a certain way.
So true.
And we're in traditional school, you have to look a certain way, a lot of times for society. And that's what I'm enjoying the most.
I know that you said when Jordyn ultimately made the switch, you noticed just this sigh of relief. What else have you noticed about Jordyn, and what's going to surprise you about the homeschooling journey?
What surprised me is that she's not done yet. Because, she even came into it thinking it was going to be easier and that she was just going to fly through it. But she hasn't. And her goal when she started was to graduate with Jasmine. That's not going to happen.
And Jasmine is 1 year older than her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I haven't brought that up. Like, I told you so. And I won't. I will when her kids are in school. But,
Yeah. Sibling rivalry.
Yeah. And I don't know that has even bothered her. And I was afraid that it would. I was afraid that it would defeat her. But I don't think it has yet. And she knows where she needs to be. And like I say, I'm very blessed that she chose, and Dad said yes at the age that he did. Those that are doing it with younger kids, I don't know how they do it. They are definitely saints. Being at home with their young kids, I think it's beautiful. But man, I don't know how they do it. I just have one that is doing it on her own, and there's days that I'm like, where are we at? What are we doing? But yeah, and that's where that support.
Yeah. Well, and
It's
like you
beneficial.
said, like, homeschooling doesn't have to look one particular way. I think those who maybe aren't as informed on all the options out there think it's you're sitting around the kitchen table 100% of the time, which could be the case, but it could also be, hey, I'm using these tools and resources available to me. I'm tapping into a community. I'm maybe using a hybrid model, right? Where I'm at home certain days and other days my child's going to micro school. So there's lots of different ways to do it. And you kind of just step into your situation and what your child needs in that moment, which you did with Jordyn.
Yeah, for sure. And when we did this, we did it at the right time. She got to travel so much last year. And, she went to DC with me, and
For your job.
yeah.
Okay.
And then she went with me in Topeka at another rally and got to be around and got to be a speaker. Yeah. So she begged me to be able to tell part of her story when I talk. And I said, okay, write it out. I want to
Make a
read it.
PowerPoint.
Yeah, make a PowerPoint. And I said, here's my talk. Make it, see if you can make your side of the story flow with that. And she did. She did a great job. And I said, now stay on task. She did not stay on task. She threw me under the bus like no other. And I loved it. And I just sat there and smiled. And to watch her be able to be on stage in front of so many different generations and different backgrounds, and to hear her answer the questions that these old men had, and how she was challenging them to do more and not to be so old. And
So what was her speech about? Her homeschooling journey?
no, it wasn't. It was about, growing up with a crazy mom like myself, with my journey and with my healing and all that. And yeah, it was just funny to watch her tell these old people, you think you're doing good on social media, you're not.
I think my daughter would say the same.
Yeah, exactly. And then her and her dad, went to her older sister's graduation back in New Jersey, and they took a train, and she always wanted to do a train, and homeschool allowed that time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some flexibility.
And dad got to do it with her. I didn't have to. And it was miserable after they left St. Louis or after Chicago. And I'm glad I didn't have to endure that. And dad got to.
Yeah, road trips are always fun.
Yeah. And they went sightseeing in different places in Newark that she normally, or we would normally not do.
Mm-hmm.
And so she got that time with dad.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's been now almost a year since Jordyn set off on her homeschooling journey.
A year this month.
So what is dad thinking now?
Oh, there are times that dad is like, you're going back.
Really?
Yeah. But that's when she's being a typical teenager. When he comes home during the day and, she's the typical teenager that, is annoying him or is loud.
Go to school.
Yeah. You're going back to school. It took him, he gets frustrated sometimes when he doesn't see her doing homework and, he still doesn't understand the full concept of it, but that's because he's not in it. And, it took him a minute to trust that I knew what I was doing. She's going to be fine. She's not slacking. Her intelligence, I promise, is not getting worse. It is getting better.
Well, you even said so yourself, like maybe Jordyn thought, oh, this is going to be really easy. And it's still going to work. It's still going to challenge your brain. It's just going to be in different ways in a different setting.
Yeah. And I think that was such a big surprise to her when I was like, hey, you haven't done anything in the last 3 days. How do you know? I'm like, it's called programming. I can see what you're doing.
I have eyes.
Yeah, everywhere. That didn't change from when you were two. They're still here.
But he probably does see, though, a difference, I would assume, just her demeanor.
Her demeanor, the environment in the home is so much better. She's not stressed out. She's not melting down. Our entire family unit is calmer.
Yeah.
And that's weird, right? Because she's home all day. Why would it be calmer? But it really is because she's comfortable.
And that changes the dynamics of your family.
Yeah, that helps me start my day off in peace instead of frustration because I don't know what's going on with her and I don't know how to help her. To where now, she's good.
Great. And your older daughter, Jasmine, she's a senior and she's still in a traditional school environment.
Right. Oh, for sure. She's the kid that, 8th grade, I'm like, do you want to go to this school, like public school? And she was like, no. And I'm like, okay, by Christmas, she's going to want to go. And no, every time I ask her, and when we transferred Jordyn to homeschool, we were concerned that Jasmine would ask. But with Jasmine's mental health struggles, we knew that we couldn't leave her alone because of her mental health. And so school was, as crazy as school is, it was a safe place for her to where we had eyes on her during the day. And so we were concerned that she would ask to be homeschooled as well. And Jordyn's like, no, I already asked her. And she said no. And I'm like, there we go. You should have put that in the PowerPoint. But she loves where she's at and she thrives.
Jasmine.
Yeah. And praise God, this is the best year she's had in school. And
she was the star in the school play recently.
I know.
She was phenomenal.
Isn't that crazy? So good.
So back when Jordyn is petitioning to homeschool, in your mind, did you think, well, gosh, this might be easier if you both just do the same
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah. Because, they're only 16 months apart. They'd done everything together. And I knew that Jasmine would keep her in line, right? But
She's the older sister.
she's the older sister. But I think it would be harder if they both did it together. So I'm very blessed and thankful that we trusted God and we were obedient to what he was asking us to do with his children.
Wow.
And so we just chose and just continue to do the next right thing, even if it didn't feel like it was the next right thing.
Mm-hmm. And they both had their own unique path that worked for them.
Yeah. And, having 3 older kids, they prepared me. Bill, I think, has forgotten about the past 18 years. He's just in today, but they prepared us for the differences. And that's one thing. Homeschool parents or parents that do traditional schooling, each kid is different. It does not mean that one thing works for this kid. It's supposed to work for all of them. And we have to start taking that pressure off as parents.
Yeah.
And just look at each kid individually.
That's so well said.
That's one thing with my life coaching and all that is not one person is the same each day. I'm not the same Cheryl from yesterday. And Jordyn doesn't get the same mom as what Jasmine has today.
Mm-hmm.
I show up differently for each kid to make their experience unique.
Mm-hmm. So in your day-to-day, you're a spiritual life coach.
Yeah.
How do you feel like perhaps this journey that you've been on with Jordyn, how has it changed you? Or maybe even just the way you think about Jordyn and parenting and maybe your spirituality?
Jordyn taught me that my boundaries are strong with everybody but her. She likes to bend those boundaries. And, I really coach my clients on their core values, their boundaries, their voice. And I was noticing with Jordyn, I was allowing her to bend all those things just because I didn't want to disrupt her. But now that she's homeschooling, she thrives on those boundaries that I set. And she doesn't try to bend them as much because of the structure it brings. And when you set those boundaries with your own kids, that becomes stability for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so I've learned what I preach, I do, even with my own kids.
Yeah.
Not just in the workplace, not just, coaching people on how to do that with their own lives, but I have to live it too.
Mm-hmm.
And so with my own spirituality, with this whole journey, I've learned to be truly obedient. And that's hard, and it looks weird, and it feels weird, but being truly obedient to what God has in store for my family, but ultimately for myself, because if I show up for myself as a mom, I'm showing up for my kids. And my kids know that. And it felt really selfish of me years ago when I started doing that, because my family was in so much chaos. How would I choose myself when it's in so much chaos? But once I started, then everything started calming down in my family unit.
Wow. And what does that mean to choose yourself?
You do what you have to do for yourself first.
Like put your oxygen mask on first?
Put your
that
oxygen mask on
concept?
first. Yeah. Spend 5 minutes in stillness. That's the hardest assignment I give my clients. And that's not breathing exercises. That's in true stillness. And it takes you a good year to 2 years just to get to 5 minutes.
Wow. Is this like meditation?
It's something like meditation, just asking Jesus to bring that stillness into your life and into your heart and to bring you that inner peace to where you can just be. You're not thinking of what your breath sounds like. You're not thinking of the noise in the background. You're just there with Jesus. And the way he speaks to me, it's beautiful. Not that I hear his words, but I can feel him. That is a game changer for anybody, especially parents. The other thing is to know who you are. Know your core values. Know when you're dishonoring them and when you are honoring them. And those people that you keep around you, Are they honoring them or dishonoring them? Your kids are watching.
Mm-hmm.
And when you walk differently, your kids will notice and they'll want some of that too.
I think we talk about it a lot, just thinking about the founders in our Bela Founder Network and parents who are choosing to own their own education. Most often it's parents who say, hey, these are my values and I want to find a learning environment that represents our family values. And at Bela, we believe that, education is more than schooling. It's a holistic lifestyle of freedom.
Yeah.
And I think you are a great testament to that.
Thank you.
And so I would love to know, and I think you've already kind of articulated this and just how you live your life, very, values-based, but how are you living your life with the freedom first mindset?
Oh, goodness, girl.
I don't know how much time we have, but
I know, right? So when my core values are challenged, you know it. When my truth, God's truth, is challenged, you know it. And I stand strong in it. My relationship with God is so much stronger than even with my own husband. I don't do anything unless God is involved. Unless God says this is the way. As a high schooler and in my 20s, I would have never been a Jesus freak. And I'm a Jesus freak. But I don't bend on my values, especially my faith and my peaceful environment.
Mm-hmm.
And my peaceful environment core value is that unity, peace, acceptance of all human life, right? Making sure everybody has their dignity and keeps it. And when I see that injustice is happening, I step in. Let's work on that. And that's one thing my girls have, and my son Elijah has, and and Amani. Yeah, I see her because she chose social work, with a master's in family counseling. So of course she is too.
Right.
And she's, just all my kids and all their different learning. The two boys went to public school. Amani went to a private Catholic girls' school in New Jersey. And then our girls have had, traditional schooling here and now homeschooling. And it all works. And they are able to be themselves. When you show up authentically, you don't have to try.
I love that.
And when you bring those same mind thinking people, that don't think like you, but can challenge you as well, that's what I want for my kids.
Well, you're doing a good job.
Thanks.
What would you tell Cheryl a year and a half ago? What have you learned throughout this journey that you'd share with other parents? Maybe there's a parent listening right now who has a child in a traditional environment, high school, who thinks, could I do it? Could we really make this work? Or something's not working. I don't know what to do. What would your advice be? Just try.
Try it. You can always go back. And that's the one thing that, my husband and I knew. If this doesn't work, we can always go back. And it may be the same school that we go back to. It may be a different one. But we're going to keep trying until we find the right thing for Jordyn. Just try it. You get to claim, that your house is a school with the state of Kansas, right?
That's pretty cool. So has Jordyn thought about what's next after high school?
Oh, girl, she's got, Jordyn, she's always got dreams. Her dream is Cambridge. And so I hope that, this new job at Panera, she makes enough to get her there.
Sell a lot of bagels.
Sell a lot of bagels,
I'll go
girl.
get a couple dozen after this.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see what the next chapter looks like for Jordyn.
I know.
I think as her mother, you've done an excellent job letting her be the author of her own journey.
And it's a beautiful place as a mom to be able to finally be there.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Cheryl.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Really loved having you on today and
I love my time with you.
Everything about what you've been up to.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot, but you're doing it. You're doing it. And I love that advice. Just try.
Just try. Yeah. Doesn't mean that it's set in stone. There's so many opportunities out there for our kids and for our families. Just try it.
Totally agree.
Jump in.
Jump right in. Thanks for listening today. If it challenged your way of thinking or gave you that little bit of courage you were looking for, be sure to subscribe to the show and leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. Remember, you don't have to be on this journey alone. If you want to connect with like-minded founders and parents, download the Bela app in the App Store or Google Play. Own your education and your life will follow.
This show is part of the ICT Podcast Network. For more information, visit ictpod.net.